I just have a comment about the fact that the offices all have windows and daylight, which is very nice, but the arts and crafts room and the library no longer have that. And the arts and crafts room in particular does need to have the daylight, because if you're in there and you're painting, you're not going to have the natural light that they look for. If you're in there and you're doing quilting, then the artificial lighting is insufficient. So it's a problem for those who are going to be closed off and no longer have daylight.
Thank you. Do we have somebody else have a comment?
Joe Mello, Whisper Greens, will hit you at the team. I understood that after the foyer was changed, beautifully done, next thing would be to increase the kitchen. Well, I occasionally patronize the dining area in case. And the meals have been delicious since Matt came, but I thought we were going to get the kitchen enlarged right away.
Just real quick, and it's a question. Like Kevin said, if and I can now say this with confidence that the budget's been approved, we're better than the budget by $24,000 for January. If Kevin and I have never, Kevin, Crystal and I, have never spent any capital spending prior to the finish of the first quarter, and the finance committee knows that also. I just don't do it. So by the end of the first quarter, if we have, let's say, another $50,000 saved in the next 2 months, and we have $75,000 of the $100,000 we need for the kitchen, then I'm going to go through the reserve committee. Where'd Larry go? Through the reserve committee, we've got the money in reserve. Okay. It's important because Kevin alluded to this.
Please make it quick. Okay.
I will. But we are going to, I'm going to come to the board with the kitchen project for this year, if we can afford it. Right now, cash-wise, as Kevin pointed out, we can't.
Do you have any further resident comment?
Earl Cheated Country Club Village. Since I've learned that this is not a time to ask questions,
Can't ask questions, you can make a comment.
and that I have talked to Gary, but I don't have all the information, I'm going to make comment. First off, this is 1,400 square feet at a total construction cost of $126,000, coming to $85 per square foot. There's renovations and furniture, etc., which adds to another $50,000. I'm looking at this, and I don't see any engineering design qualifications on this or anything signed off. So I'm just going to assume that this is a design and build, and I'm just going to go with it. If that is the case, I would forecast that there will be some very additional costs. And that if you get this done for $200,000, I will be surprised. I hope you do. I hope you've got a really close working relationship with the contractor, because that can happen. Now finally, at $85 a square foot, you could purchase a home in here right down in the corner for $70 a square foot. With the additional $50,000 that's put in there, you could modify the bathrooms, you could make the any OSHA qualifications that you really require, and you would have a total square footage of, I think, about 2,100 square feet, I believe. Now, I'm sure there's been discussions on all of that, but I haven't heard them, and apparently I haven't been around to listen. My comments is that those things should be considered before you approve this.
Okay, thank you. Any further resident comment? Any further board questions or comments? All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Thank you, Bob, for
Yeah. Can we do Neil? Take advantage of having Mark here, and just, Neil, if you just develop me for just a second, and just give us a quick update.
Good afternoon, I'm Mark Bradsky with Bob Care Building Contractors. Just to give you a quick update, the roof demolition, that will be 100% complete today on the main body of the clubhouse. 85% of it has been put back on. The upper windows, we're actually working on them now, removing the upper windows of the front lobby. The bathroom, the tile is done, the rough plumbing and plumbing trim out is being done and completed today. They actually will be putting the bath partitions on Monday. Once the bath partitions are in, basically there's some cleanup, a little bit of touch up to do, and those bathrooms will be complete. As far as the roof overs on all the flat deck areas, the material's been ordered. It's going to be delivered next week, and we've already started demolition and cutting details on those areas on the pool side. The stucco, as you can see, the stucco is about 85% complete. The major stucco work that's left to be done is on this large back gable and on the poolside walls, which are on common ground, which go pretty quick. And that's it.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Okay. Last item. Last item on the agenda, approved recommendation from the Clubhouse Utilization Committee.
No, the fines.
What?
I'm asking the board to, as a policy procedure, to approve, I want to start levying fines for speeding, for parking in...
You're right.
Oh.
That's my apologies.
Yes, I'm requesting that the board approve a finding system, which we've not been approved. The only finding system we have right now in existence approved by the board is the architectural review, and for rules and fractions. This is a new policy. We have a bad speeding problem in here, and it's not going to be any better in management's estimate unless we start finding and getting in people's pockets. So the same thing with building parking and handicap spaces over here. We don't have enough. One thing on that, we are building, Gary and I are building 4 more behind the other ones in the sales parking lot. We're putting 4 more handicap spaces in the next couple of weeks. And the last thing is overnight parking in the community. It's starting to become a problem again, and we need a way to deal with it. What I'm requesting is first offense is a written warning, a citation. Second offense, it's a citation with a $25 fine. And starting with the third offense, and I need to amend what's on the agenda. The third offense is $50 fine, but suspension of the sticker on the car. They have to start going in and out through the community, through the guest gate. And the fourth offense is a $75 fine. And the same thing, suspension of their sticker on their car, forcing them to go out the guest gate, because I'm going to consider them habitual. The last two, the third and fourth offense. If I have an individual that we've written 3 and 4 tickets to, I think that we need to do something that's more punitive to get their attention and make them stop doing this before someone gets hurt.
We have a motion.
I'll move to impose the fines as stipulated by Bill.
Second. I'll second. Board comment? Question?
I have some comments, and I'm okay with the speeding. I would like to address the handicap parking. In the handicap parking that has access to the front of the clubhouse, we have 7 spaces, and I believe that to be totally inadequate. A few of the board members looked at the geography of our parking area yesterday, and anticipated that we might be able to expand that out and add 3 to 4 more spaces, including the 4 that are alluded to in the side parking lot. The side parking lot spaces that have been labeled handicap or normal size, they kind of force you into the west entrance, and there's steps involved. So I don't see where that helps a handicapped person getting into the clubhouse. So I would like to see an access walkway with an expansion from the handicap parking area before we start that aspect and then bring it back to the board.
Oh, I have a question. You said you're going to make 4 additional spots in the sales parking lot?
That's correct. Yeah, Gary and I are working on that as we speak. They'll be right behind the 4 that are there.
I'd like to
And
say-
there is a way, by the way. When you come up from that parking lot, there is a sidewalk. If the stairs are here, there's a sidewalk right over here that you can walk up. The problem is just the stairs leading to the clubhouse. They have to go all the way around to the front to get in. People like Skip and Bruce with his wheelchair, they come around the front. And just to address the handicap thing real quickly, we also are going to put a new automatic opening system on the new front doors.
I have to agree with Janice about the distance. It's awfully far for anyone who's in a walker or a wheelchair to come from that lower parking lot to the front door, especially in inclement weather.
I'm going to make a comment too, and I'll acknowledge that some of this is personal since I use that lot a lot. But, it's my observation that probably at least 95 to 98% of the time that 4 spaces that are there are rarely filled. And secondly, that that there are times when people can barely park in there. I think they're doing a disservice to put 4 additional spots in there because they're probably not going to be used more than about 3 to 5% of the time. Number 2, I would agree with Janice. Janice and Kevin and I were outside yesterday. Take a look at the current handicap spots right out here. There's a place out there where the bushes are where it would appear that you could bump out some additional handicap parking spots there for Janice.
Yeah, Neil, I think that if money comes available, like Kevin said, that would be capital as an expansion of the facilities. Just so everybody knows, the spots that are there now met code when this building was built. And the ones that are out there right now, including, then we added the 4 when I got here in 2008, Gary and I did. But do I think it should be larger? Yes, but that's a fair amount of money. I don't want to ballpark it right here, but to bump that out for 4 more handicap, it's probably $50,000, $75,000. I'm saying I'm for it too. I agree with what Val said, what Janice has said. I think we do need more in that area. That's something we can look at, and then once we fund these other capital projects, we can put that on the list. Or if the new board decides that it's more important when they're elected on the 25th, they obviously have the prerogative of changing the priority of some of the events.
If you've ever, excuse me, this one's loud. If you've ever lived with someone, or if you are handicapped, you realize that that lower parking lot will not work. My mother lost a leg, and there was no way I could get her with her walker from that side parking lot into the building. She would not be capable of doing it. So yes, I am in favor of looking for more handicapped spaces in another location. I realize that at the time when they built this building, yes, we are in compliance with the law, but our group is older. We need more handicapped spaces, and hang on, Bill. And when we do have some funding, I would like to look into having a few more handicapped parking spaces because I do believe we need them, and they have to be closer to the building.
Yeah, I guess I need to be more clear. That's what I thought I just said, that I agreed with all of y'all to add 4. My mother had multiple sclerosis. She lived to be 80 years old. The last 30 years she was in a wheelchair or bedridden. So I'm very sensitive to handicap because I've lived it in my life.
Do we have any further board comment or question?
We approved in November 2009 speeding fines, and we've incorporated them into the rules and regs. So I'm somewhat confused. Are the ones that we imposed that are current